Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. Prime Minister Narendra Modi holds an emergency meeting at the New Delhi airport upon his return from Saudi Arabia, reviews the security situation following the Pahalgam terror attack that claimed 26 lives. Home Minister Amit Shah visits the attack site. Indian agencies release sketches of suspected terrorists. A national investigation agency team reaches Pahelgam. Messages of support and solidarity pour in from all over the world. Leaders and governments condemn the terror attack. And Pope Francis's coffin kept at St. Peter's Basilica in the Vatican City for public mourning. US President Donald Trump among world leaders to attend the funeral on 26th April. Prime Minister Narendra Modi held an emergency meeting with National Security Advisor Ajit Doval and External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar at the New Delhi airport immediately upon his return from Saudi Arabia as he took stock of the situation following the terror attack in Pahelgam that claimed 26 lives. Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri was also present. The Prime Minister cut short his visit to Saudi Arabia and returned to India after the news of the terror attack. The Prime Minister has said that those behind the attack would not be spared. Home Minister Amit Shah visited the Basilica meadow where the attack took place. It's located around 5 kilometers away from Pahelgam. Earlier, Home Minister Amit Shah paid homage to the victims by laying a wreath at a poignant ceremony in Srinagar. Minister Shah and Jammu and Kashmir Lieutenant Governor Manoj Sinha met the families of the victims of the terror attack. The Pahelgam attack is one of the biggest terror attacks in the Kashmir Valley in recent years. The Home Minister said that the culprits of this dastardly terror attack would be brought to justice. Earlier, upon his arrival in Srinagar, the Home Minister chaired a security meeting. Indian security forces have released sketches of 3 suspected terrorists involved in the attack. A national investigation agency team has reached the attack site. The Jammu and Kashmir police has joined the investigation. At least 26 people were killed and several injured after terrorists opened fire on a group of tourists visiting Pahelgam, a popular destination in Jammu and Kashmir. Among the dead were tourists from several states including Karnataka, Maharashtra, Haryana and Uttar Pradesh. An Indian Navy officer from Karnal, Lieutenant Vinay Narwal, who had recently got married, was among those killed in the attack. As news of the attack spread, a Lashkar-e-Taiba affiliate called the Resistance Front claimed responsibility for the killings. The Lashkar-e-Taiba, also known as Jamaat-ul-Dawa, is a terrorist organization based in Pakistan. It is headed by Hafiz Muhammad Saeed, who masterminded the 2008 terror attacks in Mumbai. Meanwhile, security has been beefed up in the Kashmir Valley following the attack. The Indian Army, the paramilitary and the local police were conducting combing operations in the region. US President Donald Trump and Australia's Prime Minister Anthony Albanese spoke to Prime Minister Modi and condoled the loss of innocent lives in the Pahelgam attack. Russia's President Vladimir Putin, Italy's Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni, and Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu were among the world leaders who condemned the terror attack and reiterated their support for India's fight against terror.
Leaders from across the globe have strongly condemned the terror attack in Jammu and Kashmir and reiterated their unflinching support for India. US President Donald Trump spoke with Prime Minister Narendra Modi and expressed his deepest condolences at the loss of innocent lives. Earlier, Trump reiterated support for India in its fight against terrorism. In a letter to President Draupadi Murmu and Prime Minister Modi, Russian President Vladimir Putin also expressed condolences over the Pahelgam terror attack. United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres strongly condemned the attack on tourists in Kashmir. EU Chief Ursula von der Leyen also condemned the killing of people by terrorists in Kashmir as a vile terror attack and added that India's spirit is unbreakable. Extending condolences to the victims of the Pahelgam terror attack, Israel Foreign Minister Gideon Saar said that Israel stands united with India in the fight against terror. Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman and Muslim World League Secretary General Sheikh Mohammed bin Abdul Karim Al Issa also condemned the ghastly terror attack in J&K's Pahelgam. Italy's Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni, UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer, Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese, Sri Lankan President Anura Kumara Dissanayake and Nepal's Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli condemned the terrorist attack and expressed their solidarity with the nation. Ayushi Bhatnagar's report for DT India.
And joining me from Lal Chowk in Srinagar is my colleague Vishal Barrister. Vishal, it's been a little over 24 hours since the terror attack. Has the enormity of the attack sunk in? How are the locals and tourists reacting to it?
Well, a very good afternoon to you, Ramesh. I'm here at the Lal Chowk, and there you can hear the voices of protest are going louder and louder. And I have with me the Hotel and Restaurant Owners Association of Kashmir with me, and they are here to protest against this dastardly attack. I have with me the president of the association, Mr. Gohar Makbul. Sir, how do you react to this attack first?
I have no words to express. It's a gruesome attack that has taken place. We are mourning, whole of Kashmir is mourning, and honestly, I wish there was any stronger word than condemning. It's a gruesome attack which we all are shocked of.
Well, absolutely. I also have the vice president of the association, Mr. Vikram Madan. Mr. Madan, how do you react to it? You belong to the community of Kashmiri Pandits, and when it was looking as if everything is peaceful here, this attack has happened and it has disturbed peace and tranquility in the valley.
Yeah, it has disturbed the peace and tranquility in the valley, and I think we were having a very good season this time. I think a lot of tourists has visited. Our tulip garden had more tourists in first 3 days than what happened in last year for 1 month. So we were having a very good footfall of tourists, and suddenly this thing happened, and this is just a kick on our bread and butter.
Okay. Now going back to Mr. Ghaffur. Yeah, Ramesh, let me just ask him, how would you, now from here, how things would proceed? In what way your association, people of the valley of Kashmir, would stand up and fight against it?
I think, first of all, we have to realize one thing, that these kind of attacks, these barbaric attacks, should not be there. We have to fight it out together. Unless and until the people of Kashmir and the people of India together, and the government, the important personalities in India, we have to be on one page. And we can only fight it out once we are out of it. We have to face it, and we have to defeat this, what has happened today. And for that, the important thing is we all have to come on one page. And I'm sure for one thing, it will happen, because people of India know what Kashmiris are, how we have always treated them here in Kashmir. So we don't have to say that that is embedded in their hearts. Same with Kashmiris here. The only thing we have to do is now we have to make sure that these kind of forces do not take over. We have to fight them together.
So there you hear, Ramesh. Any more questions from you? They are saying that we need to stand
Indeed,
united.
it's a
Terrible
tragedy, Vishal. It's an unfortunate incident that's taken place in Pahelgam. But you, Vishal, cover the defense beat. What are you picking up from your sources on the ground about new or ongoing military operations in the valley?
Well, Ramesh, whenever there is attack of this, the magnitude, then the security forces are put on high alert, and my sources are telling me that Air Force and Indian Navy have been put on high alert because we cannot sit back and relax. Apart from looking after, apart from digging out those who conducted this dastardly act, we also have to be high on our vigil. So the antennas have gone up and the security has been beefed up here in the valley, here in the state of Jammu and Kashmir, and also on the borders. So both Air Force and Indian Navy are on high vigil, and also the Indian Army along with the CRPF, which is our paramilitary force, and the Jammu and Kashmir police, they are taking all care so that the locals, the tourists, their security is assured.
And very quickly, before we let you go, Vishal, what do we know about the suspected terrorists, their handlers and their allegiances? Could an attack of this nature have been carried out without the involvement of state actors? And also, what do you make of the timing of the attack?
Well, Ramesh, definitely the attack of this magnitude could not have happened without the insider support. So definitely the moles have to be dug out, and we are also knowing that the intelligence agencies are on their job looking after the sketches were released by the intelligence agencies. So definitely whether it was the TRF or the LAT or the handlers across the border, the intelligence agencies along with the National Investigation Agency, they are all doing their homework. But let me tell you that it is something which has shocked Kashmir, and we all have to stand against it. And apart from looking after those who have done this dastardly act, the people of Kashmir, they are also now on their toes because they know that this is an attack on their own houses, because if the economy of the state is attacked, then it is the family of the people like these, these restaurant owners and all those who are connected with the economy and tourism industry of Kashmir, they are also affected. So definitely a lot of homework to do, a lot of questioning needs to be done, but at the end we need to stand united and we need to establish peace, and we do not and cannot allow any nefarious design to succeed.
All right, we'll leave it there. Vishal, thank you so much for joining us and sharing your insights with our viewers at home and abroad. Thank you for your time. Much appreciated. Moving on, the Indian Army has foiled an infiltration bid at Baramulla in Jammu and Kashmir. Security forces exchanged fire with terrorists who were trying to infiltrate through Sajivan. 2 terrorists were killed in the operation. A large quantity of weapons and ammunition were recovered from the terrorists. Still to come on DD India Live. London hosts a new round of talks on Ukraine. And US President Donald Trump to travel to Saudi Arabia, Qatar and the UAE next month.
Geopolitics and trade deals. Economic challenges amid development. Hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy always. Between walkers, money is what money does and says. Supply creates its own demand. Between the bulls pulls and bears tears. When supply chains globalization and India rises to the podium. We'll get you centered with the economic brief at 8 p.m. every Thursday on DD India.
You're watching DD India Live. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran. A new round of talks involving the US, Ukraine and European nations is taking place in the UK on Wednesday. Right, let's get you some latest visuals. The latest visuals of the mortal remains of the victims of the terror attack. We can see in these visuals the Chief Minister of Delhi present and consoling the families of the victims of the Pahelgam terror attack. Remember, at least 26 people have lost their lives in the Pahelgam terror attack that took place Tuesday afternoon local time at Pahelgam in the Kashmir Valley. And just to remind our viewers of the visuals reaching us, these are the latest visuals of the mortal remains of the victims of the terror attack being brought to New Delhi. We can see the Chief Minister of Delhi present consoling the families of the victims. Well, let's get you some foreign news now. A new round of talks involving the US, Ukraine and European nations is taking place in the UK on Wednesday. The London meeting comes as US media reports that US President Donald Trump is ready to recognize Crimea as Russian territory. UK Foreign Secretary David Lammy will lead Wednesday's discussions, which will be at a level lower than what was at Paris. It will be attended by US's Ukraine envoy Keith Kellogg and Emmanuel Bond, the diplomatic advisor to France's President Emmanuel Macron. Ukraine will be represented by its President Volodymyr Zelensky's Chief of Staff Andriy Yermak, Foreign Minister Andriy Sabiha and Defense Minister Rustem Umarov. Last Thursday, US, French and British foreign ministers along with a senior German official met in Paris. Trump's special envoy Steve Witkoff is to visit Moscow this week in what would be his fourth trip to Russia since Trump took office. President Trump will be on a three-nation visit to West Asia next month. Trump will travel to Saudi Arabia, Qatar and the UAE from 13th to 16th May as confirmed by his spokeswoman Caroline Leavitt on Tuesday. It would be his second foreign trip since assuming office in January. The trip will aim to bolster U.S. ties with West Asian countries, with Saudi Arabia being the country in focus as it was the first destination of his previous presidency back in 2017. Notably, the visit comes at a time when the U.S. is engaged in nuclear talks with Iran and is in key discussions with Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on trade and regional stability. Right, let's take you back to the visuals we're getting of the mortal remains of some of the victims of the terror attack being brought to New Delhi. The family is understandably and visibly inconsolable. We can see the near and dear ones of the victims' families present at the ceremony. If you're just joining us, we're getting to the latest visuals of the mortal remains of some of the victims of the terror attack being brought to New Delhi from Pahelgam. Remember, at least 26 people have perished in the Pahelgam terror attack that took place Tuesday afternoon local time, one of the deadliest terror attacks to hit the Kashmir Valley in recent years. Right, going back to some more world news, two U.S. judges on Tuesday extended temporary blocks on some deportations of Venezuelan migrants and signaled that President Trump's invocation of a 1798 law may not survive judicial review. U.S. District Judge wrote in a ruling that Trump's government must give Venezuelan migrants detained in Colorado a notice of 21 days in advance before any deportations under the Alien Enemies Act and must inform them of their right to challenge their removal. And a judge in Manhattan appeared inclined to require the administration to notify Venezuelans at least 10 days in advance before deporting them under the 18th century law. The Alien Enemies Act authorizes the president to deport, detain, or place restrictions on individuals whose primary allegiance is to a foreign power and who might pose a national security risk in wartime. A federal judge on Tuesday ordered President Donald Trump's government to restore funding to Voice of America and other U.S.-funded media. The federal judge in Washington, D.C. agreed to a request led by the outlet's employees for a preliminary injunction, a temporary order, as a court examines the legal challenge in greater depth. The U.S. District Judge Royce Lamberth also ordered the government to halt its effort to shut down two other federally funded outlets, Radio Free Asia and the Middle East Broadcasting Networks. The U.S. Agency for Global Media placed over 1,000 employees on leave and told 600 contractors they would be terminated after the agency abruptly shut down the broadcast in March. The White House has accused the broadcaster of being anti-Trump and radical. In the Philippines, a massive blaze destroyed hundreds of homes in downtown Manila on Tuesday, leaving residents without homes. The fire started in Manila's port area and was put out 9 hours later. The Philippines has a patchy record in enforcing fire safety in buildings, homes and offices. In August, 11 people died after a 5-story apartment burnt down in Manila's Chinatown. Australia was struck by an earthquake of magnitude 4.6 near Broke in the New South Wales Hunter region. The tremor was widely felt with over 3,800 reports logged, including some from as far away as Sydney. No major damage or injuries have been reported. However, the event has sparked discussion regarding a proposed nuclear reactor in the region. This marks the 11th earthquake of a notable magnitude recorded in the region by Geoscience Australia in the past year. Hawaii's Kilauea volcano erupted for the 18th time on Tuesday. The erupted volcano put on a fiery display as molten lava fountaining from the volcano was captured. Despite the eruption coming to an end on Tuesday, volcano remains at an orange alert level. Lava surged from two distinct vents. The southern vent reaching heights of over 600 feet, while the northern vent's lava fountains remained below 200 feet. In sports news, Pat Cummins-led Sunrisers Hyderabad will take on Hardik Pandya's Mumbai Indians in the 41st match of the IPL on Wednesday. With only 2 wins in 7 outings, Pat Cummins' side are placed at the 9th position on the points table. Their campaign has been riddled with inconsistency, especially in the batting department. On the other hand, the Mumbai Indians arrive in Hyderabad riding high on momentum. After a shaky start to the season, the 5-time champions have bounced back emphatically with 3 consecutive wins. Also, in the MI versus SRH clash, the players and umpires will be wearing black armbands in memory of the Pahelgam terrorist attack victims. Meanwhile, KL Rahul smashed a half-century and guided Delhi Capitals to an 8-wicket win over his former franchise Lucknow Super Giants in their IPL clash on Tuesday night. Delhi's foundation for victory was established by opener Abhishek Porel alongside his excellent batting performance. Akshar Patel also played crucial knock with the bat. Meanwhile, captain Rishabh Pant proved yet again to be disappointing by losing his wicket without scoring a run during the match. Pant came out to bat at number 7 as Lucknow managed a total of only 159. Only Aiden Markram stood up for Lucknow, slamming a 50 and taking 2 wickets. The win has strengthened Delhi's position to qualify for the playoffs because of their improved chances. That's all for this edition of DD India Live. Let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. You can get the latest news and updates on the DD India mobile app. It's available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code now on your screen to download it. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran from all of us here in New Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live.